Mhm. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday live stream. We got a lot of different stories to go over, so let's just jump right into it. So first of all, today's a great day. It's a green day. Everybody's happy. We like to see these days. They are fantastic. We know Bitcoin is almost at, I think it touched 97,000. It's been kind of bobbling around there, but it's, I think it went down to 95K, then up to 96. Now we're almost breaching 97K. So things are looking pretty good across the board. The entire market cap is up almost a percentage point, so 3.1 trillion. I like to see that. So what's going on? Because just yesterday we got a negative print as far as GDP, and actually we talked about that today on NFA Live. Go check that out over on Ben's channel. Into the Cryptoverse. It was pretty good. It was me, Ben, and Aaron from Coin Bureau Trading. So it was a different perspective that I like to appreciate, and all about. There was a couple of points about trading which I never really thought of. So go check that out over on Ben's channel. But over here in the crypto space, there's a big announcement. Microstrategy and Michael Saylor. So they just came out and said, hey, look, everything's going pretty great. Here's what we want to do. They're announcing a Bitcoin yield of 13.7% and Bitcoin gain of 5.8 billion year to date. I got to tell you, this sentence right here, a Bitcoin gain of $5.8 billion year to date, it just boggles my mind why there's not more companies getting into just Bitcoin. Not digital assets, not going into something crazy, just Bitcoin itself. So I just found this it's always interesting when things go pretty high and no one's really following, but we're gonna get into some other institutions that are actually buying it up. And then also, this is the big thing. We're gonna double the capital plan to 42 billion equity and 42 billion fixed income to purchase Bitcoin. Let me do some quick math here. $84 billion. $84 billion is gonna flow from raising funds from MicroStrategy so they can just buy Bitcoin. It's pretty big. Now, we'll see if it moves the needle as far as for Bitcoin and the rest of the market, but I got to tell you, it's looking pretty good. This increases Bitcoin yield from 15 to 25% and Bitcoin gain from 10 to 15 in this year. This isn't like 2030, 2035. This is for 2025. We break that down as far as like a metric. The Bitcoin yield, their old as far as 2024 was 13.7%. Their target for 2025, they thought they could only eke out 15, but now they're like, you know what? We know something that you plebs don't. And we think that it's going to go up higher, so we're going to set that at 25%. And because of that, we're going to have this equity plan, and we're going to raise $84 billion total. And we're going to start buying up Bitcoin even more so. And in the middle part here, Bitcoin gain, 2024 yield to date, 5.8, then 10 billion, and now 15 billion. So to sum it all up, company is increasing its holdings, raising more capital, selling the targets a little bit higher, and its total dollar gains from Bitcoin price appreciation for 2025. Basically, they're saying like, look, and this is kind of crazy to think about, Michael Saylor has undervalued Bitcoin in some way via MicroStrategy. And they're like, no, it's going to go even higher. Does that mean it's definitely a lock? No, but we'll see where things go. This is a high risk, high reward corporate Bitcoin accumulation strategy. And that's true. But I got to tell you, it's worked out pretty well for MicroStrategy, and I think it's working out pretty well for MetaPlanet. Now, MetaPlanet is a Tokyo-based company, and they mostly are into real estate, mostly hotels. And they got into the Bitcoin gain, and their stock actually rose as well. And again, they're making pretty big strides. The firm plans to invest as much as $250 million in the Florida-based Treasury vehicle as they move their Treasury arm from Tokyo to the States to grow its Bitcoin reserve strategy. And I mean, this is just one more example of a company buying into Bitcoin. Again, it's just, let me know in the comment section why a company wouldn't really want to get into Bitcoin when they see what's happening with these different corporations that are coming in. Is it just too risky? They don't understand Bitcoin. They think it's a Ponzi. They think it's tulip mania. I mean, what is it? Why do they not see it? Maybe it's just crazy. I don't know. But MetaPlanet, as you may know, is also on the board as Eric Trump. Eric Trump is on the board of MetaPlanet. If you don't know who Eric Trump is, why, he is the son of the sitting president of the United States, Donald Trump. So there's a nice connection there. And it seems like, I don't know how sleazy this is, but it's just kind of weird to me. It makes me feel kind of weird and it's a free market. You can do whatever you want to. But like the son is going into business with MetaPlanet. He's on the board doing whatever he does. And they're raising tons of funds for Bitcoin. Now, I'm not going to complain about that. It's good for my bags, let's be honest. But I don't know, something just feels a little odd. But that is the situation that we're in. Can I change anything? No. But I can hopefully be in the right place at the right time, which I think we all are. So on top of that, also, other companies getting into it or funds, Teacher Retirement System of Texas has opened a position in Trump media stock. Now, here's another thing I am pondering. Why is it the Teacher Retirement System in Texas, not a very big, huge, massive thing, not like, say, like California, but they're buying Trump media stock, which they're going to infuse with crypto and digital assets, which they have talked about before. And I think to myself, why don't they just, I mean, they can do that, it's fine, but why don't they just get into Bitcoin? And of course, the state of Texas right now has gone through the whole process of putting into a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and it's gone all the way, I believe it's all the way to the Governor Abbott, to either sign or not sign. The same thing with Arizona. Correct me in the comment section. But it's like Arizona and Texas are in this battle to see which state's going to be first to have a Bitcoin strategic reserve so they can start pulling funds from the state and put it into Bitcoin. I personally would like it to be my state, but if Arizona wins, whatever. But again, I just find it interesting that they put it in the Trump media stock, even though they could have done something else. But hey, it is what it is. So that essentially talks about Bitcoin. Now we're going to move into Bitcoin altcoins. This is an interesting one. Robinhood, they just had their revenue report released, and it looks like crypto makes up almost half of Robinhood's transaction revenue. And they say here, as retail traders come back. I got to tell you, I don't feel like the retail traders are actually coming back. And we're going to take a look at a couple of metrics real quick, but 43% Robinhood's transaction revenue. Why aren't all apps doing this and trying to get a share or a piece of the pie? If Robinhood, which was pretty big for stock, traditional equities, and they put in crypto trading, why don't they do more? Anyhow, this is what's going on. So Robinhood's first quarter results marked a revival in retail crypto trading, with the platform's crypto revenue doubling year over year to $252 million. So think about it this way. Robinhood's in there, and of course, not all that money's could have gone to crypto. Maybe more people would have gotten to stocks, but it seems like some people really like that part. So if they wouldn't have done it, let's just say like they were missing out on like $150 million just because they put Bitcoin and digital assets to actually be traded on their platform. Why wouldn't everybody else do this? However, now they're talking about how retail comes back. And it just seems kind of odd because it states here very tentatively or correctly, global interest in Bitcoin may not mimic data seen in Robinhood's data. Again, this is just one data point. Searches for Bitcoin on Google Trends are near 5-year lows, with the top countries being El Salvador, Nigeria, and the Netherlands. The United States is way down the list at number 28, just behind the UK. I want to show you something also about sentiment, social sentiment, as far as crypto risk indicators. This is Ben's website. Steal some information, it'll be okay. And if we take a look here, we talk about this many a times, price metrics, on-chain metrics, and of course over here they have social metrics. And social metrics are what we have as far as YouTube subscribers, viewers, Twitter followers for, KOLs, influencers, Twitter followers, exchanges, and Twitter followers, layer ones. And it is dead flat. Like there is not much going on. And you can see that in the engagement on Twitter and also as far as like views on YouTube. But it's still fun because I get to, talk with you guys. But if you take a look at what it looked like in 2021, that's what we're talking about. That was social metrics risk at the highest point. And 2017, still pretty damn high. Actually, let's see. Yes. Wow. At one point, it was at 0.82. And today, bupkis, nothing. So when I take a look at this, and we took a look here at, where is this? At Robinhood at 43%, I'm not so sure that retail is truly back. I think we need a lot more people to come in to where I think we should be. And this just doesn't cut it. Anyhow, this, of course, we take a look at Bitcoin on Google Trends. We're at a 5-year low. And Google Trends, it doesn't give you specific searches per month, but it's just an aggregate number of as far as like highs and lows. You can see that actually back in 2021 was the peak. Actually, there was a peak around here in November 2024, December 2024, and then it just fell off the face of the planet. El Salvador, Nigeria. So I still don't think that we're here. And also, this is also interesting as far as altcoins. Maybe retail hasn't come back because everything's dead. Dead. This is a good one. It's from Cointelegraph. Actually, no, this is from CoinGecko, I should say. Latest, 52.7% of all cryptos launched since 2021 have failed, according to CoinGecko. Now, as a reminder, we had a lot of launches as far as meme coins go. So, you can rack that in, but it was a ton. 2025 recorded the highest number of crypto project failures with 1.8 million. And you can just see over 2021, 2022, 23, even 2024. But I think a lot of this was actual meme coins. But I want you to remember this. Whatever altcoin that you're in, has your altcoin hit its previous all-time high from 2017? And if it has, how much higher has it gone? That's, I think, the question we should be asking ourselves. Let's take a look at this. I'll tell you what it is right now. So there's this website called coingolive.com, and you can just take a look here. And we can see that in the top, well, USDS, it's a stable coin. In that, I got to keep going. It's a stable coin. All these are stable coins. The only one that is near its all-time high is Fast Token. That just came out, I believe, this cycle. And it topped off on April 29th, 2025. Let's see. In the top 100, see this red part here? This is how far away you are from your all-time high. So just the top 100, and I don't know what yours is, but like Virtual is 68% from its all-time high. EOS, 97%. We shouldn't even talk about that one. Story is down 42%. Nothing is hitting its all-time high. Nothing. Jupiter, Tia. I know Solana did pretty good for a bit, but then it pretty much gave up most of its gains. Let's see. What about SWI? It's one I think is going to do pretty well. SWI. SWI's down 33%. So again, if we get into altcoins, just remember that not everything's going to make it, and it's very tough. So be careful out there. But there is one thing that I've talked about I think is going to do pretty well. Stable coins. Now just bear with me. Tether just announced they bought in $1 billion of profit in Q1 2025. It's pretty good. So how does that work? Like, should I just buy the stable coin? No, like we've talked about before. All you got to do is look at what is Tether built on. Well, it's built on Aptos. That seems like a pretty good one. It was the former Facebook developers for Libre or Libra, whatever it was called. And they branched off to do Aptos. They're the ones who branched off to that SWI. Aptos might be something. Tron, which is quite interesting. Actually, Tron doing quite well. And actually, there was a report or a news piece that the Liberty Foundation, the one that Eric Trump heads up, they're going to generate their own stablecoin. That's not the big thing. The big thing is that they're partnering up with Tron, and they're going to put on the Tron ecosystem. So just something to keep in mind as we're talking about stablecoins. Near Protocol, all right. Kava, CeeLo, Toncoin, Avalanche. Where the other ones go? And Solana, and of course, Ethereum. So if you're looking at like, well, how does that work? Just take a look at those chains and see which ones you like. Do your own research and go from there. Also, as far as altcoins, Bonk. I don't want to talk about altcoins that much, but I think we should mix it up. I think at some point we're going to have a nice little run. Bonk is like the Dogecoin, but it's on Solana. And they're closing on 1 million Solana on-chain holders to celebrate. They're going to burn 1 trillion, I think. Correct me in the comment section. Is that a trillion? 1 billion? Bonk tokens will take place when the milestone is achieved as part of the community-driven reduce supply initiative. Let's take a look at Bonk real quick. 88 trillion, 828 billion, 605 million, 709,000. Yeah, I'll be damned. So they're gonna burn a trillion. Good for them, but they got 77 trillion so far. However, bonk over time, in the last 14 days and 30 days, up 50%. Its all-time high, though, let's see how far away it is. Whew, way far away. Here's November 18th. It was whatever the heck that is, 0.00004. Now it's 0.0000018. So good for bonk. Hopefully it hits its all-time high, but who knows? And lastly, before we get out of here, I have to tell you about hacks, because all this stuff that we talk about and all the things that we do and how we invest our funds, and we're really excited about it, that's great, but it doesn't mean squat if we lose it all to some piece of trash scammer. So here's a little something to keep you fresh. Winicio, whatever, whoever this guy is, says I just got hacked. Lost ETH, Solana, and a bunch of NFTs, especially on my Azuki. Those are NFTs, Being Official, and Pixelmon, which I truly treasured. Now, as I go through this, I'm just going to remind you that all you have to do is nothing. If you just do nothing, it's better than doing something and playing along. Most of the times these hacks, I see it, it's because the people did something. They responded to something, an email, a text, some type of reach out in some way, or a message, and they did all the work for these scamming pieces of trash. If you do nothing, you're actually pretty good. So here's what happened to this guy. He goes, I'm actively applying for jobs. I got a LinkedIn DM from someone claiming to be a recruiter from Alchemy, which is a developer platform to build roll-ups apps and blah, blah, blah. She asked if I was interested in a role, and I shared my resume, which I did. After she reviewed my resume with the team, she came back saying I was quite suitable for the role. She then sent me a link to complete a 20-minute timed test and a video recording interview. During the process, there were some issues with the webcam, and the site provided suggestions on how to fix it. Since it was a timed test, I rushed and followed the instructions blindly, thinking everything was fine. Later, I received a transaction alert from Magic Eden. That's why I knew I effed up. By enabling those permissions and rushing through, the hackers somehow gained access to my wallet extensions. I didn't sign anything suspicious, so it was likely session hijacking or some browser level exploit. Also, I'd like to show you this one real quick. This just happened to me today. I get like 30 of these things a day. And this was on my text message. Hi, my name is Bella. I'm a recruiter at Riot Blockchain. Your resume has been recommended by several online recruitment companies. We're excited to offer you a remote online blah, blah, blah. 30 to 60 minutes, depending, make $2,000 a day, guaranteed base salary. You must be at least 22 years old. Okay, I get that. Enjoy paid vacation, maternity leave, and other statutory holidays. If you're interested in joining us, please contact me via WhatsApp. Yeah, that's not going to go down smooth. So I just want to be aware of everybody. Oh, also, there was one more thing. Look at this one. I'm just going to play the first part of this. Apparently, Kraken busted a North Korean hacker trying to become an employee of Kraken so that they could funnel crypto back to North Korea so they could use those funds for their army and missiles. Check this out. Hold on. Stop. Share. And this was just on CBS Mornings. I couldn't believe this.
North Korean cyber operation. CBS News obtained exclusive video of a man with alleged ties to Kim Jong-un's regime during what he thought was a job interview for an American tech company position. Instead, he was being recorded. Nicole Skanga has our story.
To catch a suspected North Korean operative, you first have to invite him to a Zoom call.
Hey, Stephen, how are you? Hey, I'm good.
Or at least that's what Nick Percoco and Dan Burkowski did. Meet Stephen Smith.
Look at that
A do
guy.
not hire list shared by law enforcement flagged him as a suspected member of Kim Jong-un's cyber army after he applied for an IT job at their crypto platform, Kraken.
I think most tech professionals would have avoided the suspected North Korean spy.
We like to look the attackers right in the eyes. Some people might call it trolling as well. We call it security research.
I like that. That's what should be done. So kudos to Kraken for finding those guys out. But, you know, with those things, with everything that's happening in the background, you can't catch them all. It's up to you who are watching this video to make sure that you protect yourself in the best way possible. So that means stop doing stuff when people reach out to you. If you just don't do anything, most of the time it's fine. And just go from there. Also, of course, if you would like to get a Tangem Wallet, which is the one that I use Ledger and Tangem, there's now a 15% discount. You can get a 3-card set. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. It's $50. You can get a 2-carder, that's only $46. So you're going to just, I don't know, pay the $4, get 3 cards. If you don't know what I'm talking about as far as 3 cards versus 2 cards, there's a link in the description. And I talk about how Tangem Card works, why I like it. I also use Ledger too. But I have multiple of these because I'll be damned if some hacker gets to me and drains me of everything. And that's why I spread things around. That's it for today. So look, went a bit long, 21 minutes. That's it for today. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. Now let's get into the Q&A, and I'll answer all your questions to the best of my abilities. And for some reason, every time I do a stream, there's an ambulance going by in the background. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's dying. Hopefully they're okay. Man, every day. I don't know. Marty. Budweiser. Who remembers? I remember that commercial. That's it. Oh, hey, good news. I forgot to tell everybody. I've got 2 tickets to the Bitcoin conference, and I'm going to be giving them away. Also, if you're so inclined, I will buy all your beers for that night if you are the lucky winner. So what we doing a giveaway? Maybe this weekend. They're expensive, man. They're like $600, $700, something like that. So I got 2 from iTRUST, and I'm going to give them away. And then I got to ask you guys a question, though, because it's like if I give them to somebody who's not going to go, then what's the point, right? Then it's kind of just languages. How is it that I can do a giveaway for the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas where people will actually go to it? That's my question. I'm not for sure I can do that. Let's see. Juan, this isn't yet. I'm going to do this maybe this weekend. I'll book the flights from Oz now. Cool. Me and Krantz can have Miller Lights or whatever the crappy beer in Australia is. Was it Foster's? Yeah, it's all bad. Gig, I have to figure out how we're going to give it to somebody who's actually going to go. China. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Based says no alcohol. That's okay. Based. We go to Caesar's Palace. They have this great buffet there. There's another one that's off the strip. Pretty good place, too. I used to live in Vegas for 2 years. It was awesome. Let's see. Trainer Dex says, Rob, if Bitcoin goes over 100K, you still going to DCA? I think I have to because I believe that Bitcoin will go to $1 million plus per token, per coin. I don't believe that we have $100,000 or $250,000 cutoff point. However, I still believe in the 4-year cycles. So if we get to 100K and then we start to see, which I don't think is going to happen, we're going to start to see indicators pop off like MVRV Z-score, well multiple, risk factors, risk levels going up, and we're in that 0.8, 0.9 level, then I will not be DCing and I will be doing the exact I'll be selling. So it really depends on some indicators. If you're questioning like, what is he talking about? There's a link in the description where I talk about where I'm going to sell 50 to 80% of all my crypto and what that looks like. Have to sign the Trust Me Bro waiver. O'Doul's is great. O'Doul's is great. It is non-alcoholic and it does taste like beer. How bright is it outside? Aren't you in Puerto Rico? I'm in Palmas del Mar. Oh, no. We have to come back. So we're here in Texas for another 4 months, just taking care of some business. One of the businesses is I sold one of my businesses. So I was kind of hoping for, a big pullback with Bitcoin, but that didn't happen. But it's okay. So with that, then we got to take care of some properties, apartments, stuff like that. Mostly that's for the brainiac of the relationship, which is my wife. She does that stuff. I bet Bobby liked living in Vegas. Oh yeah, Bobby had a good time. but it was madness. Let's see. Why is aftermarket SPY going crazy? I don't know what that is. Could you pick me up? Yeah, base, where you at? Just swing by. DC at 100K, wait for the bear in DC again and off financial advice. Sure. You have to get the ticket of the longest flight to get there. That's me. I'll definitely go. I want to go to Vegas. Just so you know, it's like living on the top of the sun in May. It's super hot, but it's a pretty cool place to be. Rob, what do you think about TradFi companies purchasing crypto companies? Helium, HNT, is that helium? For example, what would be the effect on the token? I'm not for sure on that way, but I did see that there was, and I've always imagined it was going to work like this. You have, say, like an Amazon, right? They started out very small, just a book company. And then all of a sudden they kind of figure out distribution in the last mile and how to make things profitable. And then they started to build other warehouses and start to absorb other companies. One of the big ones would be like, what is that? Whole Foods, places like that. Zappos, the shoe company. And of course, they didn't build them, obviously, but they were billion-dollar companies. They just absorbed them into the conglomerate that is Amazon. And now you also take a look at Meta, or what was called Facebook back in the day. They didn't develop WhatsApp. Well, actually, no, I take that back. They did. Instagram, they didn't develop, but they wanted it so bad that they just paid billions of dollars for it. And I think that's what we're going to kind of see for the companies or the crypto projects that want to thrive. Sure, we will still be decentralized, but they will just have it all under one umbrella. It's very hard to get good developers, good marketing, good people. And so if you have those or don't have those, you can absorb the other projects and just cut the fat and then take those products to the next level. One of the things I saw today was Stacks and Sui. There was an integration with Sui or Sui, however you say it. And that's, of course, Stacks is a smart contract layer built on top of Bitcoin. So now they have Sui, and so they have low transactions. And I think it's going to be like some type of like a DeFi or layer 2 solution. So on top of that, so that's how I see it. But as far as like TradFi companies purchasing crypto companies, it would behoove them to keep it the same way, because that's why they bought it. They bought it because there was good revenue, and the revenue comes from the tokens. Why would they screw that up? So I don't think they would say, okay, no more tokens. We're going to do the old way. Don't drink the dragon's breath. Yeah, exactly. Or the white horses or anything like that. Bad stuff. Or maybe DE mod. I will, Mohammed. Just keep hanging around and I'll get you. Don't forget diminishing returns. Bitcoin will not go to 1 million. Could be. There is diminishing returns, that's for sure. Steak is greater than ice cream, but when can we see you dive into a pool? I just did it. There's a link in the description. They're called the Crypto Critical videos, and I show you where I dive into the pool. It was a very expensive Fiverr project to manipulate, to put me into a green screen and make me look wet. It was pretty tough. Do you think property is a good investment? We talked about this today on NFA Live, and it depends on what you're doing. Depends on where you're at. Like in Puerto Rico, you've got 250 to 300,000 dilapidated, rundown zombie houses that are 60% to 70% depreciated in value. If you can pick those up and you have a pretty good crew of people who can build it up, then you can sell it for a profit, or you can be a landlord and rent it out, because there is a housing crisis over there. People need good, solid houses. So in that situation, yes. However, depending on, like, let's take Austin, for example, severely overpriced. Depends on how far you want to go out. And the rates are pretty, I would say, not ideal right now. So in that situation, I don't like buying properties. And then the last thing is, well, what about me owning property? Because I just want to own things. The thing that you have to think about owning properties, and I own multiple properties, is this. And again, we talked about this today. You never really own it in America. I don't know where you're at, but in America, what happens is there's a county assessment office, and they come out, they take a look at your properties and go, you know what? This property, I know you bought it for $50,000, but I think it's worth $100,000 now. What do you think about that? Well, what can I do? Great. So now you're going to pay tax on $100,000. Oh, guess what? Bad news. We just passed a bill, and state taxes for real estate actually went up by 0.5%. So not only is it higher, you're going to have to pay it for the rest of your life. Oh, and one more thing. It never goes away, ever. We know you own it right now, but sorry, Charlie, you're going to be paying us for the rest of your life until you die. Also, when you die, there's a death tax before you pass on to your kids and grandkids. So have fun. So that's real estate in a nutshell in America. And it's trash. That's it. Come on, Rob, I need a break from the missus. Yeah, good times. No. This is why you bring her to Vegas. So it is a green screen back there. Sure. SPY is institutional. I don't know. Better for bigger traders, higher fee. Yeah. Oh, I asked you in January and you never said you'd be there. Sorry. I gotta look, if it's in Vegas, I'll always go in Vegas. I have family there still. Wanted to go see those people. Take profits, folks. Mario is 100% correct. I'm in Pennsylvania, so quite a bit out of the way. Only other states I'm in is Jersey. You're going to love Vegas. Sweet. So ADA will absorb ETH. Wow, the irony that would be for Ethereum. Would be. I'm looking forward to seeing what layer 2 solution for Bitcoin Cardano is going to do. Now that sounds interesting. Yeah. Geek Dice says, WorldCoin, the human verification crypto project by Tools for Humanity, has launched in 6 U.S. cities offering WLD tokens to users who verify their identity. Seems like a bad idea. Is this the one where they scan your eyeball? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. When does retail come back? When everything hits its all-time highs. That's usually when they all come back. Like, people who invest into Bitcoin around this time and are early, they're more the entrepreneurs. Like I said this before, I think most of the people that watch these videos that are in the chats right now, I've got a good feeling that the majority of you either have your own business or have side hustles or have multiple side hustles besides if you have a regular job. I think most of you are entrepreneur-ish, and that's the people that invest into stuff like this. So you'll make me rich? I sure hope so. Ever since the Ethiopia debacle. Was that the one where they were trying to put on-chain IDs, not only just IDs, but actual properties and or degrees and trainings? If that was the one, yeah. I thought they stopped, but I thought they did that. Vicky says, is it possible for a small YouTuber to get an interview with you? If so, what's the best way? Just reach out via Twitter or X and just say, Rob, remember you were going to say that. Although I got to tell you, these days I don't like to give interviews. I'm going to tell you why. It's because there was a hack that was done. I didn't like it. I don't even like talking via email anymore. What is it? Unicorn Fart Dust? Unicorn Fart Dust? Is that what it is? Anyhow, the guy that owns one meme coin, I had him on the show. Like a week later, he had an interview with what he thought was like a major crypto publication, either Cointelegraph or Bitcoin Magazine. He thought it was them. And it wasn't. It was just like that story we heard about. And what they did is, same thing. They went through Zoom and they said, hey, there's something wrong with your camera. Can you just, upgrade this or hit this button? It's going to upgrade Zoom so we can talk. He said, oh, okay. So we hit the button, upgrade. They had an interview for like 30 minutes, went fine. And then he went to go check his account and it was all gone. Like everything was gone. So like in these situations, I'm not a big fan of like talking to anybody. Like I'll talk to Guy and Ben because I know those guys for like years. But Vikey, if I don't answer you, just understand why. But if I see you face to face, it's a different story. Let's see. Thanks for reminding me. I bought ice cream sandwiches earlier. What do you want? I need a new all-time high for retail. Yeah, that'd be nice. Did your pool robot find a human slave to fix it? Yeah, that human slave is me. Yeah, the wheel fell off. Still was going. Why would one man want to see another man dive in the pool unless a sexy chick is in the frame? Very true. Very, very true. This was actually a promise that I made. I said, if Bitcoin ever hits 100K, I'll jump in that pool. And people said, well, that's pretty hard to do because you'd be jumping into a green screen. I was like, well, That's a good point. Mohammed, anything real? It's only people stake it. It'll do something. Come on, Rob, we'll shout the beers. Nice. Owning a $900K house in Florida, which is nothing fancy, you pay $20K in taxes every year. Jesus. And $12K, oh, that's right, insurance. I forgot about that, for insurance. So $32K a year, assuming no mortgage. It's not the America I grew up in. Let's see. I have ex-girlfriend things with stacks. Highway robbery. People will revolt in some fashion against the tsunami. I hope so. Yeah, Australian governments are talking about taxing. That's not going to fly. Janet Yellen said the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. Unrealized gains. It means you have to sell all the time. That's not a way to make your citizens profitable. It's to make them broke and enslave them. Do you trust this Bitcoin rally push, or do you think there will be another pullback? You know, Aaron over at Coin Bureau Trading had a good point. He said, the volume isn't there. And then Jimmy, who's in the chats right now, said, well, the volume isn't there because I think most of the European countries there's some holiday or something going on. So the banks were not operational or whatever it was. So that's why the volume was so low. But he was saying that because the volume is low and because of different factors, especially like the 100K, he said it's probably going to be a resistance level. That's what the TA people always say. It's resistance levels. And I just say, sounds good. And there's Jimmy. How do you think Morgan Stanley and Charles Schwab are getting into crypto trading? Probably the same way. They're going to stick it on an app, and then they're going to have fees and be like, see, that's how we do it. We love crypto now. We love it, even though we talked trash about it before. I support that. Rob, have you ever heard of the engraved cold wallet? What are your thoughts? I've heard about it. Some people love it. I just don't use it. Nothing wrong with that. 80 behind ETH. Can I survive in PR with 2K a month? Depends on where you're at, man. If you're in like far on the island, oh yeah, you're good. But if it's like Condado and like touristy areas, kind of tough. And then, of course, the food is also expensive because everything's imported. Florida has limited how much property tax can be raised on your personal residence. So that's good. Liquidity, Michael Saylor. Do you think SWE and the Pokemon thing is real? Well, from what I understand, this was a company that SWE bought, SWE, whatever they call it. And they bought this company, and then Pokemon came out and said, we're working with this company. And people just assumed that that's what's going to happen. I don't know. There's no official announcement, so I'm not for sure. I will tell you, though, my portfolio looked very nice when SWE was going up. I'm very happy with that. Let's see if it can last, though. I still think SWE is the darling of the cycle. I hustle on the side. Exactly. People hustle. And that's why you're an entrepreneur-ish. Retail already maxed out their credit. That's true. Did you see that this is a report this was actually Q4 of 2024. And they were talking about credit card, as far as the United States, was in excess of $1 trillion as far as being put on personal credit cards over, of course, our 360 million plus citizens. I mean, people aren't paying their bills all the way down, so not good. Yeah, the top will be when someone mentions crypto and SNL. I can't even watch that show anymore. I used to love it. White people are not using a separate computer for crypto transactions only. I don't know, but Crypto Crow does that extensively. He's talked about it many a time. I think it's a pretty good one. Jason Appleton. Let's see. That's after you buy. They cannot raise it $35 a year, but when you buy, you get the current valuation of my house. It's a $300K house. Jesus, criminy Christmas. Fart dust. That's it. I run an escort service. I don't accept Bitcoin. So that's my side hustle. Sounds dangerous. Do you think we could have a cycle without an alt season? No. Greed always takes over. I have a really difficult time focusing on more than one thing at a time and be successful at the same time, Rob. So have to focus on crypto for now so I can learn more. Tim Ferriss said, and he was right when he was trying to write his latest book. He said, I didn't have and that's him talking. I don't know if you have an underlying condition, ADHD or something else, but I think Tim has a touch of that. And he said, I don't have a focus problem. I have a distraction problem. And he says, the problem was I would keep my phone on, I would keep my computer on. Somebody would text me, someone would do this, someone would that. I check emails all the time. He goes, so I think he said, I just went and got a flip phone and I cut everything else out. And that was the big thing. But again, some people, even if they have that, they're still distracted. Just in, North Carolina Senate passes a bill to create a Treasury reserve. Great. But Jimmy, does it have to go to the governor first to sign or veto it? I think that's the last step. Unless North Carolina does something different. Not for sure. And damn it, if they beat us, North Carolina. I'm building on ICP, and I got a green light from the top. Australian cybersecurity lawyers, big things are coming. I like ICP. ICP sounds good. Ada's job is to disappoint. I still think he's going to do well. Bobby bets you can't find the like button. True. Ada doing a bang-up job. Spy on China saying they're considering trade talks with the U.S. That's a rumor. I would like to see that, though. That'd be great. Such a good guy. Why don't scammers target jerks? They target everybody. Doesn't matter. Florida sucks. Talk says right. Why don't you rent? And this is a good one from 878. Literally, don't click on anything new. So like if Coinbase says, hey, there's some weird, hold on. There we go. So my enormous head doesn't look like the moon. When you get something from like a Coinbase, from a Kraken, from whatever else it is, and it goes, hey, there's some suspicious activity, click here. You don't click there. You delete that email, and then you reach out to Coinbase, and you wait 3 to 4 days because their customer service sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes they actually answer pretty well. I've heard that people have told me that if you have Coinbase One, which I personally do, it's like $20 a month, and it reduces your fees, that they actually answer that pretty quickly. Anyhow, the point of the story is, don't click on anything, go to the source, and then work it from there. Let's see. They better credit our losses then. Sure. Verhoofdy's here. Morpho went up. I took profits. That's all you had to do. And, last one. That's all you got to do. This is it. This is the last thing. It's the final boss. Just take profits and you'll be fine. Hey, Bolinwood's here. Don't buy back in. It's rollover season. So it could be. There's this old adage, sell in May and walk away. That might have been true. I'm still going to buy. Mine, Swee's holding me down. That Swee was doing pretty good. Hit the likes. Yes, Ryan. Thoughts on Ohm making a comeback could be very difficult. It's all about trust in this industry. And, it wasn't their fault from what I understand. But there was an interesting interview between the founder, I forgot his name, and CoffeeZilla. And he pretty much admitted to pumping the price. Just do a search for CoffeeZilla and Ohm founder, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I live in Apple Valley, 2 hours away. I want to go. You should just go. Just go. We should just have a meetup someplace. There's some good places in Vegas, but not like on the strip, like old Vegas. Like they have like lounge singers and stuff like that. That's fun times. And there's but see, no one gets to see that because that's usually for the locals. Now that'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. Negative settings, people owe money. ETH's a great buy at this price. FIFA on DOT just announced instead of EA. Huh. It's a pretty big play for DOT. FIFA, soccer stuff, right? I'm American. I don't watch that stuff. Put it on credit and buy Bitcoin, or you can get a loan up to $1 million from Coinbase. I got to tell you, I don't know how that's going to go. I'm not going to do it. Student loan repayments have restarted as well. It's a good idea, but will it outperform Bitcoin? Probably not. Let's see. I use Florida portability provision, whatever that is. Florida is a great place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. I'd want to live there. It seems like a pretty great place. But Puerto Rico is the best, in my opinion. Looks like sell in May will not be a thing this cycle. Find out. Pimping ain't easy. That's true. Turns out being a pimp is pretty easy. No. I agree with the first one. Ben was lobbying hard in North Carolina. Ben doesn't have time for that. I have been used the provision. My provision tax would be almost 4K. ICP is amazing. Canisters are a game changer. I haven't said this in a long time, Wonka, but you're right. Your goals are not my goals. Everybody's got different goals. I saw a video where they were talking about, I forgot the guy's name, good guy, got a YouTube channel. He talks about what he learned in 9 years in crypto investing. And one of those things he talked about, and it's something I don't say, is that you can watch 3 different analysts on YouTube, and some, like one will say, this is the worst day of all time. Some will say, that's not a big deal. And the other one will say, this is the best day ever in digital assets. But you have to understand the 3 people who you're listening to. One is a scalper or a day trader. So they might be having like the worst day of all time because of there's no volatility. One might be like, you know what, he's more of a long-term holder. And they're like, it's not too bad, and I don't really care. And the last one could be like someone like myself who holds for years and years and is like, this is the best day of all time because prices are going down, and this is just a great opportunity to buy. Those, I think, are just, you have to define who you're listening to and if those goals match up and you're hearing the same thing. And also there was one more piece on there. It wasn't Van Eck. It was one of the, it wasn't Robinhood. Maybe it was E-Trade. But they did an analysis of all the best traders on their platform. And you know what they found? That the best traders were dead. This is how it worked. Because the best traders were dead because they had done some trades in the past, but then all of a sudden it just stopped. It just stopped, and they just let things accumulate, and they just rode it all the way up. And they didn't have to sell or buy whatever else. So like, oh, this was a trader, and they just hit their positions. And the reason why they didn't do anything else is because they're dead. It goes to show you that sometimes it's not a great idea to trade like crazy, but hey, whatever you want to do. Any chance you could plan a meetup in PR over a weekend? People are considering real estate over there. I am definitely doing that. I'll let everybody know. I'll be back there in August or September. Yeah, Geek Dice says the no clicking rule is as old as time, but I think we forget about it because we forget to talk about it. That's why I continuously talk about it. IT rules from way back. It's an OG for a reason. There you go. AI agents coming back on base, Rob? Perhaps, unless you're CZ Binance, he believes that all of them are useless. All AI agents are useless. That's what he says. I think there's some pretty good ones like Talos and things like that. Crypto Esquire should not be a mod. They completely abuse their moderator powers. Perhaps, but no one's perfect. How do you think this XXI stock? I have no idea what that is. Predictions? Oh, Andy, you're in for a treat. So far, I'm 100 for 100 as far as price predictions. So here we go. Bitcoin will be somewhere between $2.50 and $500,000 by the end of 2025. Ethereum will be somewhere between 2 cents and $10,500. Cardano, a nickel, and $27. And XRP, somewhere between 50 cents and $589. Undefeated. Sitting on hands because I bought all 2024. Yep. Peak. And Andy, I say that because I think all predictions are worthless. They're fun and they give you hopium, but they're just goofy. Ether 20K. FIFA just let it all go. Oh, that's what Paul Barone's video was about. My pig butchering scammer wants to meet up at Bitcoin Vegas. I must go. I just must. Awful social engineering scams. Yep. When mullet, I have a golden ticket and a silver spoon. Kim Jong-un took a loss. Marco says, love the show. I'd like to know your thoughts on Cardano, DeFi tokens, and specifically like which DeFi tokens themselves. Like, I wish they would really get back into, or really just put out a stable coin that has real volume. I know there's like 2 or 3 on the chain itself, but I think that's the way forward. I'm not for sure on this one. Let me know which token you're talking about. Dead people cannot move their hands and hit sell buttons. 100% true. ETH and SWI are my favorites, but the reason for one of them being ETH is because of Base. Base is very easy to use, I must admit. Yeah, rob at all the crypto accounts, tell the centralized exchanges to fix their customer service. It's not just me talking, it's everybody else. And they're like, they'll hear it and they're like, oh, that's a good idea. We're going to do it. And they don't care. I just clicked tip. Funny. Rob's predictions are perfect. Let's pay attention, people. Gold. It's just an old joke. Beautiful, so we guarantee Bitcoin at 500K. You're welcome. Well, no, not above 500K. I'm saying for 2025 to the maximum of 500K. Like it could get to 499,000 or it could get to, what I say, $5? One of those, it's going to be in that range somewhere. What would be the downside of just keeping all money in Robinhood? Not much. You know, I'm not for sure how Robinhood custodies their crypto that you're buying. Are you buying just paper crypto essentially? Because I thought that you could move the crypto off of Robinhood into your cold storage device. Correct me in the comments section, so I wonder why that is. Hoofty, love it. Bitcoin's going to 1 cent. Joseph is battling me for the worst prediction of all time. Post-2020 predictions are better than your pre-2020. Yeah, exactly. I think we all remember those. I think I had Voyager at, what was it, $50 or somewhere? Someone will tell me. But yeah, it didn't work out whatsoever. And the reason why it didn't work out is because Steve Ehrlich tried to keep up with the Joneses. And the Joneses, unfortunately, was that piece of trash guy named Alex Mashinsky, who is going to be sentenced on May 8th for 20 years. And he tried to keep up with him because he thought, well, there's all this yield coming in, and they're getting all this yield from Main Street, Wall Street. They're getting from institutions. They're getting from somewhere they're shorting and longing it. That's what it says. It was a bank, right? That's what Celsius is supposed to be, a crypto bank that you could feel assurance of. And they were going to bank the unbanked. And of course, that didn't happen. And then, of course, they did a stupid thing, $460 million uncollateralized loan to Three Arrows Capital. Three Arrows Capital also in cahoots with Sam Scam and Fraud, whatever the guy's name was from FTX. And it was just a big circle J of people just screwing over everybody. So, yep, that was my price prediction. Right. Incognito, total. Nice. Never been to Vegas. Ready to book flights. It's a great place to be. Vegas hasn't been the same since COVID. I got to check it out. I'll be the judge. I'd rather buy Bitcoin than pay for the tickets. Still debating. Probably just buy Bitcoin. How about virtual? Virtuals, I own it. I like to see some more utility on it, that's for sure. Anthony Mucci mentioned he bought 10,000-ish in Microsoft for his kid and forgot about it for 15 years. Didn't ever trade that one. See, that's how it goes. Simon Dixon, I remember what Simon Dixon would say. You should check out his channel. He's a really good guy. Been in Bitcoin since 2010. He just says, he goes, my goal every month is to have more Bitcoin in my wallet than I had at the beginning of the month. And that's all. That's all he does. And he said the only time, he said, I broke my rule one time with Celsius, and I'll never break it again. I was like, that's a pretty good one. Kraken does have SNEC. I think that was the first Cardano native token to be listed on a centralized exchange. Correct me in the comments section. Which you have to think about is pretty sad. I mean, think of all the different native tokens that say like Ethereum has. Tons of them, right? And SNEC is the first one? I don't know. Buy in May. You can move crypto from Robinhood to self-custody. Very nice. Which is like $30. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Overtrain is better. You know, I did get one right, which is Cardano. But I said it was going to be $3 and hit $3. Thank God I got my 8 off Voyage and Doge off Voyage the weeks before it went up. Very nice. I'll go at $1. Price will never be this low again. This is your last chance to buy Bitcoin under blah, 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 what everybody talks about. Sam Bank and Chris, nice. What's on your to-do list in Vegas? See my brother, see his wife. Maybe my niece will be there. Play volleyball with some old friends. And moderate too heavy drinking. I'm not for sure yet. And meeting some great people in Las Vegas. That's about it. Oh, and going to a bunch of buffets where they serve steak. That's about it. That's big thing. Actually, about like $500 avoided because of your prediction. Good. Hopefully you got out. It actually did work pretty well because I think my prediction was like when it was like under $1 and went up to 5 or 6. I was feeling pretty good. Basically, no meme token. Yeah. Did he sell, mate? Oh, correction. Anthony Scaramucci purchased $1,200 worth of Microsoft stock first on a 92, then forgot about it. 3 decades later, it quite turned to a, man, imagine that. That's proof right there. All you got to do is time is your greatest asset. Butt kiss. Did you go to school in Vegas? No, I did not go to school there. This was after the fact. When did you leave the mainland U.S. and why? Well, it's because Puerto Rico has this great Act 60 and you pay no capital gains tax. That was the main reason. I'll be honest with you. And that was in 2020, 2021. And as I was living there, I realized just how great the place was. And I love it. I love the beach. I love the people. The food grew on me. I actually like the food now. I met some great individuals over there. And I'll probably live there till I die. So one thing, you come for the capital gains tax reduction and you stay for everything else that's awesome. And lastly, and we got to get out of here, it's been about an hour. Did you get your bro into crypto? No, they are not those guys. My one brother invested into Visa when it was when it first came out in 2008 and invested all the way until like 2015 or something. And that's why he's retired early. And my other brother is more of a gold guy. He actually owns physical gold and just thinks that precious metals are it. And I can't argue with either of them because they're annoying as hell. That's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Thanks for sticking with me as it got dark, but I got to get out of here. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.